What's up, YouTube? Welcome into part 4 of Dragon Age Origins with a Therapist. I appreciate you all being here. Thank you so much for making it all the way to part 4 of the playthrough. It means so much to me. I appreciate all the kind comments that y'all have left. I also appreciate the constructive feedback that people have left in the comments so far. Make sure you leave more comments on this one. Put a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out all the links in the description. And if you ever want to watch me live, as always, twitch.tv/DrMick, 9:30 p.m. Tuesday through Sunday, Pacific time. Let's roll. I didn't name him Pat Mabari. Yeah, no. He's Dirk, and he's a good boy. Alrighty, we got a dog, we got Alistair, and we got Morrigan with us. And I actually am curious if I can give Morrigan maybe some legitimate armor here. Let's actually outfit her for battle, maybe? Although her, said she does get a significant boost from her. Ooh, Enchanter's footing is probably better. Okay. Feels good. Do that. Dirk, what's up? There's me. Just want to make sure that I'm fully outfitted as well. It looks like I am. Alright, let's rock. Nice hat, Morgan. Oh, you know what? Alistair needs a hat. Alistair, you need a hat. I think you need a hat more than Morgan needs a hat. There we go. Attaboy. Our elf route. We are on our way. Gather your party and venture forth. Yes.
Wake up, gentlemen! More travelers to attend to. Led by an elf, of all things.
They don't look much like them others, you know. Maybe we should just let these ones pass.
Nonsense. Greetings, travelers!
Highwaymen, preying on those fleeing the Darkspawn, I suppose.
They are fools to get in our way. I say, teach them a lesson.
How is that any way to greet someone? A simple 10 silvers and you're free to move on.
That's you are extorting people. Okie dokie. Well, friends, I understand the economy's rough right now, but we have no reason to trust you. You have no reason to trust us. Let's play it cool, alright? You must be toll collectors. I'm going to give you a benefit of the doubt.
Indeed, for the upkeep of the Imperial Highway. It's a bit of a mess, isn't it?
You're fixing the highway. I don't get a sense. Oh boy, I don't want to antagonize these guys though. I don't know what kind of force they have. In the same way that they don't know what kind of force we have, I have no idea how strong these guys are. These guys could be brute force of the galaxy here. Maybe you should charge more. That's no. I don't have that kind of coin, man. Can I sponsor a section of the highway? I don't have that kind of coin.
Ah, and if I don't believe you, how do we solve this predicament?
You really want to fight a Grey Warden, big dog?
Did he say he's a Grey Warden? Them ones killed the king.
Traitors to Ferelden, I hear. Confronting Loghain put quite a bounty on any who are found.
But aren't them Grey Wardens good? I mean, really good? Good enough to kill a king?
You have a point. Well, let's forget about the toll. We'll just leave you to your darkspawn fighting, king-killing ways.
You know, the Grey Wardens could use a donation, big dog.
You don't say.
They is really good, boss. Remember?
Well, yes. 20 silvers? That's all we've collected today.
An excellent donation. Thank you, sir.
Then take it. Do enjoy your stay in Lothering and all that.
I will. How the turntables. Yes. Oh, man, I love it. See, you got to be really careful in moments like that, though. That's the thing is I knew that we're strong enough to handle that. And so we had a position of leverage, and we could see a little bit of the doubt in those guys' ranks. And when you see doubt like that, the best thing you can do is be confident. And if you turn it on them like that, they're all bark, no bite. And that's pretty clear by the fact that there's not a bunch of dead bodies sitting on the ground. They're not all bloodied up. He didn't immediately go on aggression. He knows what he's doing. But to see nervousness there, so we had a little bit on him. Anyway, Lothering. In ancient times, Lothering was a little more than a trading post that served the fortress of Ostigard to the south. Nowadays, it is larger, serving Redcliffe and the community of merchants and surface dwarves near Orzammar. Its location on the North Road gives it strategic value, so control of Lothering has historically been a matter of contention between southern Banorn and the South Reach Arling. King Callan had himself stepped in and awarded the town to South Reach in the Exalted Age, which has largely ended the feud, or at least the appearance of it, from In the Pursuit of Knowledge, The Travels of a Chantry Scholar, by Brother Genitivi. Oh, there is a dead knight here. Wow. This golden locket bears within it a tiny painting of a pretty brown-haired young woman. It is impossible to tell who the woman might be, but whoever owned the locket was quite fond of her. I stand corrected. There's a dead guy here. This corrupted note is written by Sir Henrik, the Knight of Redcliffe, Codex. Ooh, let's read that. A note from Sir Henrik. So many of my fellow knights have been searching for the urn. Surely one of them must have found Brother Genitivi by now. Still, until I hear that all is well, I must proceed as planned. Brother Genitivi holds the key to finding the urn of sacred ashes. We always knew this, but I believe I now know where Brother Genitivi lies. I have been to his home in Denerim and found the trail, and I am amazed that other knights have not done likewise. Unless they have. No, it is best not to get caught up in the thoughts of conspiracy. Sir Donal waits my report in Lothering. I must go to him immediately and report what I have learned. Should anyone find these ramblings, all I ask is that he be informed of my fate. I pray that he complete what I cannot. Yes, okay, so Loghain said that the Grey Wardens killed the king. That's a great tactic by him. It essentially makes it seem like he is a dramatic figure or the victim of what happened. This is what I meant when I said last episode that Loghain is dangerous because he controls the narrative. So this is where the crypticness of the Grey Wardens is going to backfire. Because people have a general conceptualization of what the Grey Wardens are, that they fight the Darkspawn, but they're not super well understood. So you create this symbol of the King's Fall, and you divert it into this group of people that, one, is exclusive, two, plucks people out of thin air, and three, is generally misunderstood but also seen as a strong show of force, so it instills fear in people. So now, not only do you have a target for that people can get answers to, so to speak, they can fill in the gaps, but it's through a group that they could be afraid of. So now Loghain can juxtapose himself against the Grey Wardens by saying, if you trust me, I'll get you through it. I saw how brutal they were. I saw the way they took Kaelin down. I managed to keep my entire regiment safe by getting us out of there, and I'll protect you too. And when people are loaded with uncertainty and fear, particularly given that the blight is on its way, then boom, people will gravitate toward that immediately because they like confidence and they like answers. So what he has also done, and this is very important, what he has also done is he has made it so that when we interact with people as a Grey Warden, they doubt us. He has intercepted the first impression. So now when people come across a Grey Warden, they think what these guys do, which is they essentially go, I don't know that I can trust you because a person that I do trust told me that you killed the king. And that you're part of a group that we can't trust. So he has sown some seeds that are going to grow into plants that are very difficult to de-weed. It's scary when people use their position like that in the way that Loghain has.
Oh, back, are you? Well, I thought we settled things nice and amicably with you wardens.
Want some questions answered.
About what? We're just, you know, greeting travelers.
Actually, it's more refugees here.
Yes, fine. Life's hard all over. Nothing of concern to you Grey Wardens.
You said something about the Grey Wardens killing the king?
Everyone's saying how the Grey Wardens betrayed the king during the Darkspawn fight. Got him and themselves killed. Turn Loghain pulled out just in time. First thing he's doing as regent is putting a bounty on Grey Wardens.
Loghain's good, man. This is the other scary thing, is he is a renowned strategist. So it's not like he's shooting from the hip here. He has thought this out. Real Palpatine vibes. It's time for you and your men to get the hell out of here.
Well, we don't want trouble, so yes, we'll do that. Thank you for sparing us.
But you said these refugee types was easy pickings.
There are better pastures elsewhere, you fool. Time to go.
And stay out. Nice. There we go. God, just sitting here, just tolling refugees. Not cool, man. Preying on the vulnerable. Trap trigger.
Well, there it is. Lothering. Pretty as a painting.
Ah, so you have finally decided to rejoin us, have you? Falling on your blade in grief seemed like too much trouble, I take it.
Is my being upset so hard to understand? Have you never lost someone important to you? Just what would you do if your mother died?
Before or after I stopped laughing?
Right, very creepy. Forget I asked.
People bring their own insecurities and projections into conversations with people that they don't really know very well. And I think that's what's happening here with Morrigan. Morrigan was just cast out by her mother. And Morrigan does not seem to be in a position where she's ever had much cultivation of her emotional experience. Like, we've seen Flemeth a couple times, and Flemeth doesn't really seem like the type who engages with emotion in a meaningful way or in a connective way. She engages with emotion from a philosophical point of view, and she gets very, like, questiony and logistical and kind of, like, counters it. So Morrigan has to be feeling something about leaving and is most likely upset. I mean, she seemed to be very scared about leaving. Like, she seemed nervous about it. And she is going to be seen as an apostate, so that's not particularly great for her. So despite, you know, having this really strong demeanor, I think there's some real insecurity and worry that there's weakness in there. Well, one way to not have people think that that's the case and see into that is to constantly show up in interaction as a show of force, even to the point of making fun of Alistair for his grief. Because Morrigan couldn't possibly be struggling with her own emotion and her own grief if she's going to treat Alistair that way. So it's a way to get people off of her vulnerability, and it also potentially serves as a means to try to get Alistair not to show the vulnerable parts of himself, because if he shows up with vulnerability, it connects her to her own vulnerability, because humans are inherently empathic. So her engagement with Alistair there is pretty, like, ugh, but it also serves a function for her, and is something that I think prevents her from connecting with what's going on for her. So we're going to be mindful of that. Alistair is very in touch with what's going on for himself. Morrigan is, but puts distance because maybe there's something threatening about that, and it's not something that's been cultivated for her. And I like that Alistair's retort to her was, I get to be sad that I lost my people. Now, he made the age-old mistake of, well, what would you do if your mother died, which shows his lack of understanding of her relationship to her mother. And that ends up kind of hurting his argument, where in reality, had he just stopped it, I get to be sad, and I don't appreciate you giving me shit about it, that would be a good enough response. What did you want to talk about, Alistair? I'm not gonna over triangulate myself here. So I want to know more about what he had to say, because that is passively going to show Morrigan that I care about what he has to say, and that maybe I don't appreciate that she tried to shrug him off like that. What do you want to talk about, dude?
His navel, I suspect. He certainly has been contemplating it for long enough.
Oh, I get it. This is the part where we're shocked to discover how you've never had a friend your entire life.
I can be friendly when I desire to. Alas, desiring to be more intelligent does not make it so.
Anyway, I thought we should talk about where we intend to go first.
Yeah, I stand by my hypothesis here. Morrigan has an aversion, it seems, to softer emotion, and tries to intercept it. She's trying to control this engagement. She is very likely a person who sees emotion as something that pulls her out of control. Many people conceptualize their emotions as being something that pulls them out of control, and they think that controlling emotions means controlling interactions and stuffing those emotions down. So her trying to intercept that, again, take a jab at Alistair, it potentially gets him to harden up. It steers the conversation away from vulnerability, thus she doesn't have to get closer to it, thus she can continue to feel like she's in control. And again, I think Alistair, to an extent, is within his rights to clap back a bit on that and hold his ground. I think if Alistair was to shrink down and just kind of go with that, it enables that sort of behavior from Morrigan. And if we're going to operate well as a team, this is a dynamic that's going to have to get addressed. Because I can't constantly have emotion in the group, emotion that we have to work with and respond to, and then have this like super polarized way of attending to it. Like we have to be able to create some rapport here so that this doesn't keep happening. I thought we should talk about where we intend to go first. Do you have some thoughts on that?
This should be good.
I think what Flemeth suggested is the best idea. These treaties, have you looked at them?
Again, Morrigan jumps out. I mean, this is her MO at this point. We're seeing a real pattern. Have you looked at them? Not yet.
There are three main groups that we have treaties for. The Dalish Elves, the Dwarves of Orzammar, and the Circle of Magi. I also still think that Arleman is our best bet for help. We might even want to go to him first.
Okay. What do you... Okay, that's cool. What do you think we should do, Morrigan? Again, I want to invite both of them into this. I want to establish really early on here that we are a collaborative group and that I hold your opinions on equal footing. If I only go with what Alistair says, I'm also reinforcing for Morrigan that she's not as important, and that's not cool. So I want to make sure that I also offer her opinion, or offer her to give a chance to say what she thinks that we should do, so that this is a nice spirited discussion amongst the three of us.
Go after your enemy directly. Find this man Loghain and kill him. The rest of this business with the treaties can then be done in safety.
Yes, he certainly wouldn't see that coming, and it's not like he has the advantage of an army and experience and...
I was asked for my opinion and I gave it. If your wish is to come up with reasons why something cannot be done, we will stand here until the Darkspawn are upon us.
I'm with her. I'm with her. Boy, their dynamic is already interesting. Holy shit. They're gonna be a lot of fun. I asked for Morrigan's opinion and she gave it, and I appreciate that immensely. Alistair, by interjecting there in that way, I think shows he's probably trying to show that he knows better, but what I really think is underneath that is probably a sense of threat. That Morrigan was able to come up with a bold answer that quickly, and it was in direct conflict really with what he suggested that we do. So we have two people with entirely different worldviews that have ideas about what to do, and there's a sense of urgency and fear that I think goes into all of this, and so it's going to elevate this. But I love that Morrigan said, he asked for my opinion, and I gave it. So back off. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to lie? Do you want me to just say what you want to hear? No, that's not what we want. And me as the leader in this, what I'd be saying to them is, she is correct, Alistair. I asked for her opinion. Just because I ask for one of your guys' opinions doesn't mean I'm going to actively follow through on that opinion, which, by the way, is something that a lot of people, I think, misunderstand in day-to-day interactions. If you are asked to give your opinion on something, or you offer your 2 cents, that doesn't automatically mean that we have to act on that opinion. Like, an opinion's not an impulse, and it's certainly not a compulsion. An opinion is something to throw on the table so that we can get a mix. We can put it all together and maybe figure out what the best way to proceed is. It also gives us insight into where each of them is in terms of their general orientation to conflict. So with Alistair, we see that he has a bit more of a diplomatic view of things. Morrigan has a, let's give a show of force. And that is actually very consistent with what the two of them have shown us so far in this entire playthrough. Alistair has a bit of a diplomatic view of things. He came from the Templars, but he didn't exactly want to do that, and he's like had to watch the way that diplomacy has made things happen. Morrigan, on the other hand, by being where she's been in the swamp and stuff, has had to be a show of force. She has had to instill fear in people before they took her seriously, and likely has had to really be a show of force in order to get her mother's favor. So their opinions don't just come from a overarching view of the general situation. They also come from personal conviction. They come from personal experience and things that they've learned work. So you get insight into people when they share their opinions on things like this as well, and that's a really nice window into both of them when we watch the way that they interact about this and the opinions they give, which is why I want to know what they have to say. Really cool, and I have to give a lot of credit to BioWare for the consistency in the writing around that. It makes sense why they would both say what they said there. Is there a way to contact the Grey Wardens, Alistair?
Short of leaving for Eldon to seek them out, the only place to send word to would be Weishaupt Fortress. And that's thousands of miles away.
Thousands of miles. That sounds terrible. Okay. I think we do need to find these people. I can speak generally here, I guess.
I can give you directions, if you like.
Alright, where is Arl Eamon? Actually, where would Loghain be? That's probably... we need to know where he's at.
If he isn't out in the field with his army, he's probably going to be at the palace in Denerim. We can go to Denerim, but somehow I suspect that they're not going to let us just walk around. Only a suspicion, of course.
I don't think they will either. I think that's a good call. Alright, where's Arl Eamon?
He'll be at Castle Redcliffe, in the far western part of Ferelden, next to the mountain passes. If he isn't there, someone will be able to tell us where he is.
Okay, and where are the Dalish?
If we head eastward, towards the Brazilian forest, we should hear word of one of the clans that wanders that area. Hopefully, they will still be there.
Okay, and the dwarves are in Ozamar,
We would need to speak to their king in Orzammar. That means heading west into the Frostback Mountains, which won't be easy.
And the Magi?
That will be at their tower on Lake Carlinhard to the north. We'll be looking for the first enchanter, whoever that is.
Okay.
Then you have a plan.
Yeah, I do. I'm ready.
Fair enough. Let's head into the village whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Alistair, for your permission to do that. All right, good stuff. Now, let's go see what's down in here and what's the general talk of the town right now.
We were lucky. We had the coin to pay the toll to those bandits. Many didn't.
So let's talk about your mother for a moment.
The Darkspawn were just
I'd rather talk about
but they
your
are
mother.
real.
Well, there's nothing
Why
to
does
talk
the
about.
Maker
And
not
besides,
help us?
isn't
What are
your
we to
mother
do?
a scary witch who lives in the middle of a forest? Much more interesting.
To you, perhaps. You would find the moss growing upon a stone interesting.
You know what's more interesting than that? Apostates, mages outside of the tower. That's illegal, you know.
You did not read that in a book somewhere, did you? I hope the small letters did not strain you overmuch.
Or we could not talk about your mother. That works for me.
See, I legitimately think we have two people here who are relatively insecure about their power and their purpose and their abilities, and so they're just taking it out on each other, which makes for great conversation fodder. All right, let's steal from everybody, huh?
I don't like this place. Why did we come here?
This Darkspawn is why.
Some small part of me hoped the Darkspawn were just a myth, but they are real. Why does the Maker not help us? What are we to do?
Great question. Great question. Keep asking those questions while I steal your quartz. Got some scary goats here. Very scary goats. Who are you? Farmer.
Need something? I don't generally talk to strange elves who wander in here.
Yeah, so we gotta remember, we are not looked at favorably by people. And this, if I was not in a suit of armor with a sword and a Grey Warden, this would potentially be very dangerous. So we're gonna see some of the same kind of punching down that we've seen throughout this series so far because of the fact that I'm an elf. I am not going to get the benefit of the doubt from basically anybody. Now, I could go through this and I could basically assert my credentials. I'm not an elf. I'm not just an elf. I'm a Grey Warden, dude. So stand down. Which is okay. I actually think that's okay to do. I also think that I could be a little bit more questioning of this guy rather than just immediately assume that he's racist. Because, like, strange humans, strange dwarves, who knows how this guy reacts to strange people. Right, so do I give this guy maybe the benefit of the doubt until he shows otherwise, I suppose, knowing that I can protect myself if I need to. This is not a super vulnerable position for me to be in right now. Got something against elves?
I don't know you. Why shouldn't I have something against you? We've got enough strangers overrunning us. Nothing but trouble.
Totally fair. I respect that. What reason does he have to trust strange people, given the fact that there are literally bandits who are standing up on that bridge tolling this place? Like, everybody in a time of crisis is going to be out for themselves to an extent. Like, yes, do people want to help each other? Sure. But at the end of the day, I need to make sure that my needs are met. I've got my resources, and strange people add unknown variables to an already unpredictable world. So I respect where he's coming from with this. I'm not going to intimidate him. There's no reason for me to do that.
Can't promise I'm going to answer them.
That's fair. All right, what's going on here?
What isn't? We got chastened barbarians in every farmholder south of Callanhard running from the Darkspawn. Not that they'll be safe here with the army gone.
Who's in charge here?
You could talk to the Elder, though she's got her hands full getting everyone on their way. For now, most folks go to Sir Bryant. He's head of the Chantry's Templars.
There's no ruling lord?
He's gone to war and taken all his soldiers, leaving us to fend for ourselves. There's not going to be much left when he returns, if he returns.
Those bandits always outside this village?
What? You mean they're gone?
Yeah, I got rid of them.
Well, goody for you. Now there's no one to drive off the blighted refugees. Sir Brian's will be glad, though. He's been talking about offering a reward for anyone who'd run them out.
Oh, I should go.
Don't let me stop you.
That would be pretty wild if those bandits were commissioned by this place as like, hey, protect us. But they probably should have made that more clear. That also would have been good cover for them. I might not have run them off as fast if they were smarter about their strategy. He did answer the questions, though. I give that guy, you know, he said he wouldn't promise that he'd answer him, but he did answer them, so good for him.
A few knights have come through here, searching for some holy artifact. Not one of them stopped to help.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of disappointed people around here. You, sir. Thanks for crashing my game. God damn it. All I did was take a little bit of quartz from those crates and talk to that guy, so I'm not gonna stress about it. Ooh, a Templar.
You there. If you're looking for safe shelter, I'll warn you, there's none to be found.
Templar armor is freaking awesome. I just think it looks so cool. And I want some of it.
Move on if you can. Lothering's lost.
I actually don't know if I do, Skog. I'll need to check on that. Lothering's lost. What do you mean it's lost?
We've had refugees streaming from the south for the last 2 days. The Chantry and tavern are full to bursting. There simply isn't enough food to go around, and we Templars can barely keep order. You'd be better off elsewhere, my friend.
Can I ask you a few questions?
I'm just out here to keep an eye out for Darkspawn. Please ask someone in town. No offense.
Fair enough. Who's in charge around here?
The band has marched north with Loghain, so Lothering's on its own. Most folks look to Elder Miriam. Otherwise, you could speak to Sir Bryant in the Chantry, I suppose. It's up to you.
Sounds like the guy who voices DrMick in Destiny. That's the same guy.
There'll just be more bandits as soon as you leave.
Ah, moan and wail and gnash their teeth. It is sad to watch how helplessly they scurry about.
It's just a guess, but I'm thinking everyone in Lothering is aware of the approaching Darkspawn horde.
I'm sure that they are.
What do you need?
Want to talk about Duncan? Oh, see, I don't like that question phrased that way. Do you want to talk about Duncan? I could say, I'd like to talk about Duncan, or I could say, hey, if you ever want to talk about Duncan, let me know. I don't know that
You don't have to do that. I know you didn't know him as long as I did.
Interesting. So I make an initiation to try to connect with him a bit. Talk about something that he's struggling with. Show him that I care. And his initial reaction is one of, essentially, I wouldn't want to burden you with that. Which is a learned behavior. I'm asking you because I care, Alistair, not because I'm out of a sense of obligation. Friends, you got to be really careful not to conceptualize people reaching out to help you as them doing it out of obligation. When we get into adulthood and we're talking about friends and people we're close to, when people reach out to you, generally I think it's best to expect that the reason they're doing that is because they care and because they've chosen to, not because they have to. If you project that obligation into them, it's going to change the way you respond, and you might react the way that Alistair did, even if Alistair maybe does want to talk about it. Now, if he legitimately doesn't want to talk to me about it, that's okay. It's better for him to say, I don't want to talk about it, as opposed to saying, you don't have to do that. Right? There's a difference. One is a commentary on the dynamic between he and I. The other one is a boundary about his willingness to talk about something he was affected by. But you generally should not assume that people are trying to engage with you and learn more about you and care for you because they're obligated to do so. That's something that's learned, likely from relationships that aren't related to the one that it's happening in at this point in time. Now I wouldn't say I'm mourning his loss. I don't really care that much about Duncan, but he was like a father to you. I understand. I hate that I'm saying I understand after that. It'd be better for me to say it seems like he was a father to you. Like, I can crack this open a little bit, and if he puts the boundary down, we'll respect it.
I should have handled it better. Duncan warned me right from the beginning that this could happen. Any of us could die in battle. I shouldn't have lost it, not when so much is riding on us, not with the blight and everything. I'm sorry.
In the wake of traumatic events, where so much of people's safety and understanding of their environment is lost, one of the ways that people build a sense of control over what happened and ways they fill in the gap is to personalize it and to assume too much responsibility for factors that were outside of their control. Because if it was within Alistair's control, then it means that he could do better next time and that he could prevent it in the future. And unfortunately, that is not necessarily true. When people go through traumatic events, what happens is they are forced to reconsider their expectations. And something that Alistair had to reckon with here is that Loghain, or a person in a position of power like that, could have done what they did, and that the Grey Wardens could be overrun. My sense is that Alistair has such a high respect for the Grey Wardens that he probably thought them somewhat invincible, and that comes out in his belief that he single-handedly could have stopped this or changed it. The reality is he could not have done that. So what happened in this battle is it's deconstructed Alistair's schema of what the Grey Wardens even are. So his over-personalization of this is him taking far too much accountability for circumstances that are beyond his control, and he would do well to separate himself, maybe ask what are things that I could have controlled and maybe done differently for the future. But to assume responsibility for all that happened is, one, not good for him, and two, it actually pulls him away from holding accountable who needs to be held accountable here. And in this case, that's Loghain for the decision that he made, and Kaelin for being as reckless as he was, and Duncan for trusting Kaelin in the way that he did. It's hard to hold people who are dead accountable. And I think Alistair is probably deflecting some of the blame for what happened off of Duncan in particular, and assuming the responsibility himself so that he doesn't have to be angry at Duncan for what it is that he chose to engage in. So it makes grief incredibly complex, and I'm glad that Alistair is willing to talk about this a bit. No need to apologize, dude.
I'd like to have a proper funeral for him. Maybe once this is all done, if we're still alive. I don't think he had any family to speak of.
I don't need to get all squishy on this. I mean, that's an excellent idea, dude.
I think he came from Higheba, or so he said. Maybe I'll go up there sometime. See about putting up something in his honor. I don't know. Have you had someone close to you die? Not that I mean to pry, I'm just...
That's his questioning of that, I think, is a cool indication that, like, we're being sensitive enough to what's going on. Which, by the way, the reason I didn't say that Duncan had you as family is, as much as I may think I know about the nature of his relationship to Duncan, I don't know it completely. And I think for me to say you were family to him is maybe a bit of a leap, and it puts Alistair in a position where if that's not the case, he has to correct me. I think it's better just to focus on the idea he had rather than just start jumping into a bunch of assumptions on behalf of trying to maybe soften this up and make it this big emotional thing. So I'd rather let him take the lead on that instead of me going ham on the sentiment here. Have you had someone close to you die? Not that I mean to pry. I saw plenty of death in the alienage. I sure did.
Yes, I suppose you must have. I can't even imagine, really. Thank you. Really, I mean it. It was good to talk about it, at least a little.
You don't have to force people to talk through their grief. But if you do provide this to people and you show up with curiosity and questions and don't make assumptions, this is often the response you'll get, and it's very cool. I'm glad he was willing to talk about it. And I would reinforce for him, I appreciate that you felt comfortable enough to talk to me. I don't take that for granted. We're still getting to know each other, dude. So it's cool that he did that. Yes, well, don't tell anyone. Jeez. Anytime, dude. Like it. All right, we got some Alistair approval.
What do you need?
I want to ask him some questions real quick. You said this Arl raised you.
Oh, did I say that? I meant that dogs raised me. Giant slobbering dogs from the Anderfells. A whole pack of them, in fact.
All right, I can jab him a little bit. That would explain the smell.
Well, it wasn't until I was 8 that I discovered you didn't have to lick yourself clean. Old habits die hard, you know.
That would explain your breath, too.
And my table manners, too. Though, come to think of it, they weren't all that different from the other Templars. Or did I dream all of that? Funny the dreams you'll have when you sleep on a cold, hard ground, isn't it?
It's true. Is this going somewhere?
You have no sense of humor, you know that. Fine, fine. Have it your way. Let's see, how do I explain this? I'm a bastard. And before you make any smart comments, I mean the fatherless kind. My mother was a serving girl in Redcliffe Castle who died when I was very young. Our Lehman wasn't my father, but he took me in anyhow and put a roof over my head. He was good to me, and he didn't have to be. I respect the man, and I don't blame him anymore for sending me off to the Chantry once I was old enough.
Why did he send you off there?
Our Lehman eventually married a young woman from Orlais, which caused all sorts of problems between him and the king because it was so soon after the war. But he loved her. Anyhow, then you, Alistair, resented the rumors which pegged me as his bastard. They weren't true, but of course they existed. The Arl didn't care, but she did. So off I was packed to the nearest monastery at age 10, just as well. The Arlessa made sure the castle wasn't a home to me by that point. She despised me.
Probably lucky. See, I don't. You should avoid making these. Like, you were probably luckier than most. That's a totally useless thing to say here. Like, it's me making so many assumptions. That's pretty brutal, man, to do that to a kid.
Maybe. She felt threatened by my presence, I can see that now. I can't say I blame her. She wondered if the rumors were true herself, I bet. I remember I had an amulet with Andraste's holy symbol on it. The only thing I had of my mother's. I was so furious at being sent away, I tore it off and threw it at the wall and it shattered. Stupid, stupid thing to do. The Arl came by the monastery a few times to see how I was, but I was stubborn. I hated it there, and blamed him for everything. And eventually, he just stopped coming.
You were young, man. I think it's probably, like, you should probably cut yourself a break. Adults have this tendency sometimes to hindsight things they did as a child. kids don't have the scope of knowledge and the abstract ability to connect various symbols and to understand the context they're in and the heavy relational dynamics that exist both within and outside of their relationships. Like, when you're a kid, you do a lot of stuff from a very egocentric point of view, and that's developmentally appropriate. So Alistair, as an adult, would do well to do some work to be softer to his memory of his childhood. Like, sure, was it not great? Yeah. But you were a kid. You didn't know any better. You know better now. You make better decisions now. But this is how you learn stuff, man. Is by doing stuff and experiencing adversity and seeing what happens. So, it would be cool if we could see him cut himself a break on this.
And raised by dogs. Or I may as well have been, the way I acted. But maybe all young bastards act like that. I don't know. All I know is that the Arl is a good man, and well loved by the people. He also was King Caelan's uncle, so he has a personal motivation to see Loghain pay for what he did. Anyway, that's really all there is to the story.
Cool. Codex updated. The Arl's... Oh, let's see. His mother was a serving girl who died when Alistair was very young. He was raised by Eamon Garin, Arl of Redcliffe, for a time. The Arl's wife, Isolde, suspected the reason her husband took an interest in the welfare of his servant's child was that Alistair was the Eamon's son. She insisted that the boy be sent away to the Chantry. Jeez, man. I've seen your TikToks, but the first time around stream, I'm curious, do you usually play games in the same alignment type, or do you bounce around based on the game? I'm not sure what you mean by alignment type. You're talking like, do I play as like a good or an evil character? Because I basically just make the decisions that I would make as, like, in real life. All right, let's chat with Morrigan. I'm really enjoying these conversations here, getting to know them a little bit.
What do you wish of me?
I'd like to ask you something.
If you must.
Have you ever been hunted by the Chantry?
You are very cute to ask so many questions.
You don't have to answer that if you don't want to.
Of course I don't. 'Tis no matter. My mother has been hunted from time to time, yes, by Templar fools like Alistair, which should tell you how successful they generally were. Flemeth made a bit of a game of it, in fact. The Templars would come again, and she would look at me and smile and say that the fun was to begin once more.
I don't want to read too much into it, but I am going to just notice something, which is that I asked if she's ever been chased by the Chantry, and she immediately answered by saying her mother has. She's very quick to talk about her mother here. I will be curious to see how much of Morrigan's identity is basically built relative to her mother. Because her mother's something of a legend. And I wonder if she's had an opportunity to find her own autonomy and identity amidst that. Sometimes it's like the way that people answer questions like that, you can get a little bit of a window into it. So again, I realize I might be reading a little too much into it. But you really had no trouble with them.
I am unsure. I was too young to understand, and perhaps 'twas bravado on Flemeth's part, or perhaps she was merely amused. I will never know. Flemeth would warn them, once. 'Twas a warning they inevitably failed to heed. And then the true game began. Often Flemeth would use me as bait. A little girl to scream and run and lure the Templars deeper into the wilds and to their doom.
Here we go. Here we go. How terrifying as a child would that be? Hey, go lure these guys who have literally spent their life trying to figure out how to tame mages and kill them and whatever. I want you to go bait them and bring them in like sport. Young little Morrigan doesn't understand that process. That would be terrifying. And my guess is that Flemeth probably laughed it off. Or she just was like, no, just do it. This is what we do. Your fear is not important here. So if you're Morrigan, what do? You have to figure out how to suppress it. And you have to figure out how to get the job done. And you have to figure out how to appease a person who's not going to allow you to access your emotional experience. Like that little tiny example there is, again, it's starting to build a bit of a foundation for how we understand the way that Morrigan shows up. I'm not saying that that's this one nodal instance in her childhood that changed everything for her, because that's not how it works. But if we hear enough of those types of things, it starts to make her behavior make sense to us. That's a pretty intense thing to have a kid do. To bait Templars deeper into the woods. She used you as bait?
'Twas a game, and I a young girl. If I didn't get to play, I would have been very upset. Thankfully, the Wilds is a vast place. Once they found us, Flemeth would simply move us elsewhere, and we would be lost within the forest once again. I did not understand the danger we faced until I was much older. I had never heard of apostates or maleficarum.
Do you still think it was fun?
I think that my mother made it fun so that a child did not learn to fear. And I think that it was necessary. There are no trials for apostates, no prisons, no mercy. There are only absolutes, so only survival matters. If the Wilds have taught me anything, 'tis this. First, you must survive. Do you disagree?
I mean, she's not wrong. There's not really much you can do if you're not surviving. At the same time, I think it depends on what I'm surviving in. You're telling me that I could survive as a darkspawn, maybe give me death, right? Like, so I understand where she's coming from. That's, again, if the Wilds have taught me anything, says the first, do you disagree? I wouldn't say I disagree. I don't know if I agree either. We have different contexts. I don't want to say I have no opinion on the matter. I do think there are worse things than death. I do.
Oh? I would ask what exactly, but I'm certain that would be a lengthy conversation, and suddenly I grow very weary. Enough of this talk. Let us return to the task at hand.
Okay. Morrigan disapproves? Wow, you try to talk to her and she's not into it. Okay. Well. Oh no, I disagreed with her. That's why. Oh, I see what I did there. She said, do you not disagree? I hate when people speak in double negatives. God damn it. All right, whatever. Whatever. I stand by what I said. I mean, I think there are worse things than death, but...
Mother!
I basically wanted to tell her that God damn it, Dirk. No. I want to open this box, buddy. Flask. Golden Scythe, 490 black.
Mother!
Rubble.
It's going.
Back off. I have the right to charge what I wish.
You profit from their misfortune. I should have the Templars give away everything in your carts.
You wouldn't dare. Any of you step too close to my goods and I'll...
It's so nice to see everyone working together in a crisis. Warms the heart.
Oh, you there. You look able. Would you care to make a tiny profit helping a beleaguered businessman?
Get rid of the tiny part, no consider it. Is your profiteering ruffling some feathers? Solve this yourselves, I'm not getting involved. I could ask this question, but... Is your profiteering ruffling some feathers?
You could say that, yes.
The nerve of these people!
He is charging outlandish prices for things people desperately need. Their blood is filling his pockets.
'Tis only survival of the fittest. All of these cretins would do the same in his shoes, given the chance.
She's not
I
wrong.
have limited supplies. The people decide what those supplies are worth to them.
You bought most of your wares from these very people last week. Now they flee for their lives, and you want to talk business?
Look, stranger, I've 100 silvers if you drive this rabble off, starting with that priest. I'm an honest merchant, nothing more.
Man, what a tough, Because if he is, like, really gouging people right now in a time of crisis, I mean, we could make an argument that that's, like, morally corrupt, but it also makes sense if you have limited resources. The fact that this guy's willing to pay that much to us in order to get her to go away, I think means that he doesn't exactly use his resources well. I don't know. I mean, it's like one of those things where, like, we got to help each other out here. We also have to survive. But if you're gouging and you're taking advantage of this traumatic instance that these people are going through, I don't know that I'm particularly fond of that. Like, that's why we have laws and stuff to prevent people from doing this shit. You don't think you're being a little unscrupulous, dude?
Would it help these folks if they could buy no goods at all?
They spend their very last coin because they are desperate, and this man preys upon them as surely as the bandits outside the city.
Ah, I'm not arguing anymore. Drive off this woman and get your 100 silvers. Otherwise, I'm taking my wagon and leaving.
God, he has so much leverage here because he could totally do that, right? Like, I get involved here and I piss this guy off and he leaves. So is it a circumstance where you want overpriced goods or do you want no goods at all? Right? Like, this is a real conundrum here. This guy has so much leverage here. Because if he can take his ball and go home and go gouge people elsewhere, he could do that. And then now I'm the asshole that drove him off when people could certainly get... Because here's the other thing. Here's the other thing, chat. There's so much complexity to this because this is an indictment on this guy for sure. Right? Like, this guy is gouging people. But this has also got wider systemic implications. What this means is that the people who can afford this, like if there are people who are wealthy and can afford his prices, because this guy wouldn't hang out here if people couldn't manage to figure out how to afford what he has to offer. So there are people that can do it. Well, what is preventing people from buying the goods at these prices, the people that can afford it, and then sharing it amongst their ranks? Right? Like, you could just as easily have somebody who's really wealthy in this place come in, buy this guy out, say, hit the road, give me all your goods, and then distribute them throughout the community. You could have that happen as well. Perhaps there's a governmental structure here in this camp where we use the taxes that have been collected or whatever in order to pay this guy off and get him out of here. Does it enable his behavior? Yes. But ultimately, if we can get him to part with his goods so that we can distribute them to the people who need it, cool. Right? Like, there is something to be said for people with resources can help people out big time. They don't have to hoard those resources. So there's a lot of systemic complexity going on here. So I think you can compromise and still make a profit. No. And that's true, right? I agree with you, Rotor. Like, there is a chance that people who are affording it are people who can barely afford it. And he's kept his prices just at that place, and maybe there aren't any rich people in this camp. That is true. And that is a good point too, right? Like, the rich could buy him out and then not distribute. There are certainly, right? But that also, again, that means that there's moral bankruptcy that's happening across the board here, and that this guy gouging these prices is indicative of the system that they're in. Right? I'm not justifying that behavior in any way, shape, or form, but this is difficult. At the end of the day, this is what gets us in touch with our basic human drives, is We need resources. We need the stuff that we need in order to survive. A lot of other stuff becomes very inconsequential when you can't get your basic needs met. Lower your prices or lose your goods. I think you can compromise and still make a profit. No. Oh, man. This is a tough one because if I say you could compromise and make a profit, I think that's okay. He could also just go back to gouging them as soon as I leave. I could also intimidate him to lower his prices or lose his goods and take them by force, which I guess leaves me with a little bit more renown, right? Like, that could potentially scare people off from gouging in the future because they know that there's this elven Grey Warden out there who's beating the shit out of people for gouging. Like, I could use this guy to send a message to other people, like, don't pull this shit. He's also ruled by fear here, and this doesn't facilitate a dialogue and a conversation where they're collaborating. I'm going to try this one. I think you can compromise and still make a profit, no?
Perhaps. If that woman agrees I'm allowed to charge something.
Do what you must. So long as the prices do not beggar the needy.
Fine, fine, done. And since you don't look too needy, normal prices for you.
So, we have come to solve every squabble in the village personally. My, but the Darkspawn will be impressed.
Thank you for your generous assistance. May the Maker watch over your path.
Morrigan disapproves. Well, I get it. I mean, I am, like, dealing with some petty stuff here, but... Morrigan, do you understand the point of my channel?
Don't suppose you're looking to buy something?
I am indeed. I hear you're making a killing. Me too! Oh, God.
All right. Just don't buy everything up.
Why not, sir? Oh, wow, he's got a lot of stuff. Look at that! Look at the shit that this guy's carrying! Oh my God! This guy's got chainmail? He's got blue steel gauntlets? Good lord! Dwarven mace. Dwarven longsword. Interesting. How much money do I have? I need to sell him stuff. Let me gouge him by selling him all these things I don't need. Let's see. That, here's that. Darkspawn staff. I suppose I could get that to Morrigan eventually. Smuggler's boots. I think we could probably dump most of this. Smuggler's armor. I don't remember picking this stuff up, but we'll hold on to the chainmail. Get rid of this. Good. Acid flasks. We'll sell all 5 of those. Get rid of these. Look at how much money this guy has. This can be sold to a merchant or given to certain party members to influence their approval rating. Ooh, okay. We'll do that then. Get rid of the amethyst. I'll try quartz, greenstone, wolf pelts. This is good. Clear this all out. Demonic ichor. Spirit shard. Yeah, I don't ever use stuff like this. Alright, good. I got 13 gold now. Thank you. I just cleaned that guy out. Gotta love inventory management, indeed. Alright. Chantry Devons.
And Eileen spoke unto the masses, my hearth is yours, my bread is yours, my life is yours. For all who walk in the sight of the Maker are one.
What's up? Mile back.
Let all repeat the chant of light. Only the word dispels the darkness upon us.
He can't answer you. He's Chantry Devons.
Is he touched in the head or something? Wow, I've not heard that expression in a long time. What is a chanter?
One of them that can only say the chant of light. His board has letters of good deeds to be doing. My father fixed Widow Alison's roof once, and the charter paid him, he did.
A learned child is a blessing upon his parents and onto the Maker.
Kid, thank you for the 17 months. I appreciate it. So if I wanted to thatch a roof, I talk to him. It's like a vow of silence then? He can't talk normally? Anything interesting on that board of yours? So it's like a vow of silence then?
Unless it's the chant of light, no.
And so Rajmael in the heathen temple recanted. Speak only the word, sing only the chant. Then the golden city is thine, spoke Andraste.
I don't need to come in guns blazing here. Chantry says what? Is there anything of interest on the board?
Blessed are the peacekeepers, champions of the just.
Alright, let's look at this. Bandits everywhere. As prescribed on behalf of Sir Bryant, Templar and Defender of the Faith. Know that all of those who prey upon refugees do so under pain of death. The Maker spurns bandits and their kind. The Templars offer a sizable reward for the apprehension or execution of the bandit leaders plying their trade in the northern wood and roads. Beware. The bandits are numerous and of considerable skill. Only a well-armed and well-trained party should brave the deep wood. We pray for the success of any who undertake this mission. Residents of good standing and passing travelers have indicated that there are 3 bandit groups in the northern wood. This humble chanter would echo Sir Bryant's caution, lest you wind up another victim to those evil men. The reward for such service is 3 sovereigns. May the Maker look after his children in our hour of need. Sure, I'll do it. Gotta love how the Maker creates bandits and then is like, yeah, I'll let this happen under my watch. And then what I'll do, I know what I'll do, and then I'll create people who can go and kill those people that I made in my name so that they can get money from other people that I made. Just why, Mr. Maker? What are you doing?
All right.
Necessary? Is this sport to you?
There'll just be more bandit leave.
And this place is huge.
Your king is the legions of evil are on your doorstep. They will feast upon our hearts. There is nowhere to run. This evil will cover the world like a plague of locusts.
Please, you're scaring the children.
Better to slit their throats now than let them suffer at Darkspawn hands. There! One of their minions is already amongst us. This man bears their evil stench. Can you not see the vile blackness that fills him?
Why don't you keep your voice down, brother?
I watch the Black Horde descend on my people. I will not be silent.
Please stop! Somebody shut his mouth!
But isn't he right? The ban left us. We're going to die.
This minion is but the first of those who will destroy us!
Okay. These are always really interesting because we have to look at these things in context. If this guy saw all of his people die by the hands of the Darkspawn, and he cares about his fellow brethren, yeah, I'd probably shout it from the rooftops too. Like, this guy, I think, is legitimately coming from a place of concern for his fellow man and wants to get people as afraid and activated as he is so that they do something about it, so that they're prepared. Like, people resort to all sorts of things to try to control the situation when a lot of shit's going down. And this guy has basically said, you know what? I need to make sure that my voice is loud. I need to make sure that people understand what's happening. I need validation for what happened to my group of people, and I also want to spare people the pain that I've been through. So this is a guy who's up here in pain, who desperately wants people to understand what he understands. Now, sometimes we can say, like, that's the truth, that what he's saying is, like, yeah, more people need to know about it. In some cases, it may be that his truth is not particularly conducive to the well-being of those around him. But ultimately, I think where this guy is coming from is he's trying to protect people. So the reason that I point this out is because if we're going to try to de-escalate this situation, we need to be able to empathize with and understand where this guy is coming from and see him as somebody who is scared rather than somebody who is an aggressive bludgeon. Empathy is the way. What happened to you, man?
My family, my clan, those creatures butchered them all. Some of us fled here, but we cannot escape the Darkspawn.
See? Yeah, so, yeah, see how he softened there when we ask about it? That's where this is all coming from. That must have been horrible, dude. How'd you get out of that?
No! I won't listen to the words of a man tainted by Darkspawn.
Not evil, man. I'm a Grey Warden. Talk to me about what's going on.
I ran, hearing my wife's screams as they dragged her off.
Damn, dude. Oh, and now I run into the issue that I have as a person who wishes I could say exactly what I want to say versus what the video game is providing for me, because I would want to know more about this. I don't want to immediately go ham on my agenda here. I want to get more information. Like, if I immediately go, dude, scaring these people isn't going to bring her back, that's a really intense thing to say to this guy. That's a really intense. We have 2 sentences worth of rapport. So me just immediately going scaring these people won't get her back. That's something I would say after a long conversation with this guy. This is not something I would say immediately. You can say anything to anyone as long as you do it at the right time. And this is not necessarily the right time. At the same time, I do want to get this guy to chill it out a little bit, because I think he's putting himself in danger here. You are not honoring your death by acting like this is, I think, a ridiculous statement for me to make, because he probably thinks that he is. I'm going to say, I'm sorry for your loss, man.
Why am I here? I should not have come.
He was right, wasn't he? There's no hope for us.
There's always hope, my dude. Muster your courage. You can be scared, but you can also choose how you react to it.
You're right. We can't give up.
But we can't fight. What are we supposed to do?
We can't lie down and die either. We must go north to Denerim.
The evil shall descend upon us!
Wait, I thought he left. Okay, he did.
Keep going.
And what a terrible thing that guy had to go through. Watch your entire family die. That was interesting that he could sense, that he could smell me. But I guess if he's been around the Darkspawn, he would recognize that smell. I don't think that it says to suggest that he's a Darkspawn.
Maybe with that blasted chasing gone, my headache will go as well.
Sure. I hope so too. Alright, let's go in here. Isn't it amazing? I just want to really point to... Hour and a half. I have moved all of, I don't know, what, a couple hundred meters in an hour and a half. I love so much. Just how much richness there is here. Oh, wow. There's a giveaway in chat. So if you want to get a copy of the acoustic version of Voyager 77, courtesy of Sergeant Spartan, ! Enter. You only have to do it one time. And then there will be a link that pops up where you can redeem it. Sergeant Spartan, thank you so much for your generosity, friend. I really appreciate that. Sir Marin.
If you seek refuge in the Chantry, there's simply no room left.
Closed?
We turn none aside, but we simply don't have room for anyone to sleep. Priests are within if you seek to offer devotion to the Maker, however. May he protect us all.
Who's in charge here?
The revered Mother runs the Chantry itself, and Sir Bryant heads the Templars stationed here.
Did you know there were bandits on the highway?
Were? Did you drive them off? Well, Sir Bryant will appreciate that.
You heard any news?
Not since Loghain passed by with his army. It's a shame about the king. But with the Darkspawn coming, few can think of anything else.
And I'm sure.
Make her watch over you.
Sergeant Spartan, thank you for those 3 giveaways. Really appreciate it. Those of you that won one, make sure that you click that, drmick.store/redeem. It'll link to your Twitch account, and then it'll verify that you won it, and then you can claim the download. So thank you for doing that, Sergeant. Really appreciate that, friend. Let's go in.
I have a wonder, Alistair, if you will indulge me.
Do I have a choice?
Of the 2 of you that remain, are you not the senior Grey Warden here? I find it curious that you allow another to lead while you follow.
You find that curious, do you?
In fact, you defer to a new recruit. Is this the policy of the Grey Wardens, or simply a personal one?
What do you want to hear? That I prefer to follow? I do.
You sound so very defensive.
Couldn't you crawl into a bush somewhere and die? That would be great, thanks.
It was a bit antagonistic on her part. It is interesting, though, that, like, technically she's suggesting that Alistair is still the implicit leader despite giving me the lead. Because I'm only the leader because he allows it. As we talked about in Red Dead, leadership gets very complicated very fast. But it's okay if Alistair doesn't want to lead. You know, there is a real... I think there's a real strength to people who can recognize that they don't want to take positions of leadership. There is nothing wrong with that. We tend to idealize leadership, and we look at people who take charge, and we think that they're better in some way. But knowing that you're not in a position to be a leader, and that instead you would rather follow and be as good of a contributor to the team based on what the leader says as you can be, is awesome. It takes a lot of strength. It takes a lot of self-reflection to do that. And so if a person ever tells you that they're far more comfortable in a following role and that they would like to do the best they can at that, that's okay. You should appreciate that about a person, because that's usually a very well thought out thing. There's a difference between being a follower because you've really thought that out and being a follower because you're just so overwhelmed with anxiety that you don't want to give leadership a shot. At the same time, anytime somebody sets that kind of boundary, I think it's really important for us to respect that. And I give Alistair a lot of credit for being honest about that. Morrigan seems to not respect that, which is a Morrigan problem. That's not indicative of an issue with Alistair. This place is really
pretty. So I
pretty.
take it you did not enjoy your Templar training?
That's directed at me, I take it.
Do you see any others about who have failed at their religious instruction?
I didn't fail. I was recruited into the Grey Wardens.
And if you had not been recruited, what would have happened instead?
I would have turned into a drooling lunatic, slaughtered the Grand Cleric, and run through the streets of Denham in my small clothes, I guess.
Your self-awareness does you credit.
I thought you'd like that.
He is quite antagonistic toward him. I'm feeling pressure to take responsibility, taking on full team at work. Back where I'm at, yet people don't seem to understand how I could be happy doing what I'm doing now. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole issue in organizational leadership where people get hired to positions of incompetence, or they get promoted to positions of incompetence rather than being supported around what they're good at and where they want to stay. I think it's okay to hold that boundary.
Darkspawn stragglers, but no sign of the main horde. We are the only hope of protection this village has now, and I will not abandon them. That is all. May the Maker have mercy on us.
Indeed. Man, oh man. This is real dire straits right now. Sir Donal.
Who? I beg your pardon. I did not see you approach.
Sir Donal? Is that you?
Alistair? By the Maker, how are you? I was certain you were dead.
Not yet. No thanks to turn Loghain.
If Arl Eamon were well, he'd set Loghain straight soon enough.
If he were well? What do you mean?
The Arl is stricken with an illness that threatens his life. We have found no cure, either natural or magical.
When did this happen?
Only a few weeks ago, but he has declined quickly. No one knows the nature of the illness, and even magic has done little to slow its progress. Our only hope now is a miracle. Every knight of Redcliffe has gone in search of the Urn of Sacred Ashes. Andraste's ashes are said to cure any illness, but I fear we are chasing a fable. With each day, my hope dims.
Your quest for the ashes brought you here?
I expected to take advantage of the Chantry's library, in fact, but my skills are better suited to battle than chasing down tales.
So tell me more about this urn.
Supposedly, the urn contains the ashes of the prophetess Andraste. Surely you know all this.
No, I don't. I'd like to hear what you... I'd like to hear what you've learned. Ooh, what a... Chef's kiss response there. It's a great way to deflect back to him.
If you're truly interested, there are books here containing a great deal of lore. Nothing I have found leads me to believe that this was anything more than a quest of desperation. I intend to return to Redcliffe soon and tell the Arlessa exactly that, once Sir Henrik arrives.
Who's that?
My fellow knight and traveling companion. He is delayed, though.
Well, I've got some bad news for you, sir. I happened to find his body and some writing.
What? And you have his locket? And a note? Maker's mercy. Thank you for giving me these. I would never have known otherwise.
Now, perhaps you could give me your armor as a sign of appreciation? I drove off the bandits that killed him.
Thank you. I wonder how many of us have met similar fates on this mad quest.
Probably a lot. I was hoping to meet Arl Eamon here.
Why is that, if I may ask?
You boy. We gotta be careful. We have to be really careful here, because what we know about Loghain does not match the wider rhetoric about what happened, because Loghain has controlled this. So we have to be very mindful. At any point in time, if we suggest that we are working against Loghain and we are around the wrong people who misconstrued that as us being treasonous, we could put ourselves in great danger. So I'm going to try to say that I don't want to say what's going on here, just to play it safe. We got to be mindful of that. He did say he wants Eamon to sort Loghain out, so he's probably safe, but I still don't know who's listening, and I got to be careful with my words here. We do have to be slightly diplomatic in how we handle this.
Whatever the reason, the Owl won't be seeing anyone until he's recovered.
I don't like the sound of that. We should see Eamon for ourselves and find out what's happening.
You can travel to Redcliffe if you like. Perhaps he has recovered. Or perhaps his son might assist you. If nothing else, I am certain you would be welcomed at Castle Redcliffe. The Arlessa is there, and she could tell you more than I could.
You be fleeing the Darkspawn?
My mission takes priority. But I fear I shall be returning to Redcliffe with nothing to show for my efforts.
Sorry to hear that, man. I gotta go.
With Henrik gone, I need to return to Redcliffe. Perhaps later I will seek out the scholar his note mentions. But I must go. Thank you again, good sir. You have been most helpful.
Happy to help, dog. Love your armor. Before I read this, I just want to say to all of you who are here live here on Twitch, thank you so much for taking time out of your night or day to watch this playthrough and to be here with me and to chat. I love seeing chat move while I'm playing, and I do read the conversation while y'all are there. So if you've tagged me and I haven't responded or something like that, I do apologize. I do my best during these playthroughs, but I appreciate you being here. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thanks so much for watching this. I hope you're enjoying it. As always, again, I got to remind you, leave a like and a comment or something like that. It would be very helpful for getting these videos in the algorithm, but I am really grateful for your support of my channel and for what I do here. It's fantastic. The Sacred Ashes of Andraste. Only one person witnessed Mafareth's betrayal, Havard and Aegis. Childhood friend of Mafareth, he accompanied his chief to the meeting with the Tevinters, not realizing what was planned. When he understood that Mafareth was giving Andraste over to be executed, Havard, unwilling to draw swords against his friend and liege, placed himself between Andraste and the Tevinter soldiers. The Tevinters struck him down, and Mafareth left him for dead. Gravely wounded, Havard made his way to the gates of Minrathus to stop the execution. When he reached it, the terrible deed was already done, the armies on the plains long since dispersed. Havard, cursing his weakness, gathered the earthly remains of Andraste that had been left in the wind and rain and wept. When his fingers touched the pile of ash, his ears filled with song, and he saw before him a vision of Andraste, dressed in cloth made of starlight. She knelt at his side, saying, "The Maker shall never forget you as long as I remember." The song faded and the vision with it, and Havard was alone, but his wounds were healed. With new strength, Havard took up the ashes of Our Lady and bore them back to the lands of the Almari. From Thetis, Myths and Legends by Brother Genotimi. Love it. Love it. Characters. Arl Eamon Garen. Nobility does not exist without obligation. We owe all we have, even our lives, to the land and our people. Oh, I remember we read this, but he fell ill with a mysterious condition that even magic could not treat. It's a bummer. I mean, that guy was really thankful, which was really cool. Sir Bryant, you will be happy to know that I cleared out those bandits.
Yes? Who might you be?
You can call me Mick.
I am Sir Bryant, commander of Lothering's remaining Templars. You don't seem like the other refugees. Are you one of Arl Eamon's knights?
I am not. I'm actually a Grey Warden.
I see. Loghain declared all Grey Wardens traitors responsible for the king's death. You know this, I hope.
Oh, man. That's how quick it happens, chat. That's how quick it happens. Holy shit. That was a huge misfire on my part. I let my ego get the best of me there. This guy is in a position of power. I wanted to legitimize myself in front of him, and I put myself at risk in doing so. Because I knew that. I knew Loghain put a bounty on my head, and I have no reason to trust this guy. Oof. That's a huge misfire, but it speaks to just how careful we have to be in moment-to-moment interactions, because it takes precedence sometimes over the meta. Like, when you're in a position that we're in, we at all times have to be on our toes. And I can't let my own ego and my own desire to legitimize myself get in the way of my safety. And I did that there. I think about this stuff all the time. I'm here to analyze this stuff, and I just fell prey to it right there. And I gotta own that. That was really dangerous for me to do. And it was because I didn't think about it. I saw this guy posture up, and I wanted to legitimize myself. So now, how do I want to proceed? The Grey Wardens did no such thing. That feels a bit antagonistic here. I've heard the rumors. You will say nothing about me. Is that clear? That's a bit of a power move there. So I'll say I heard the rumors. I'm going to play this cool. Because I think if I play this cool, it seems a little bit more like I'm pretty strong. Because, like, I've heard the rumors and I'm still willing to say that. Like, I've got to own it now. I can't backtrack this. So I gotta stay clear here. Like, yeah, no, I've heard the rumors. But I trust that you can think for yourself, sir.
I don't believe the Grey Wardens would be as careless or malicious as the Tairn claims. But either way, there it is. It is best you not linger, though. Just in case.
Thank you for your allyship, sir. Are you in charge here?
The revered mother leads this flock. I merely command her Templars. Normally, our role is to protect the Chantry and seek out unsanctioned magic. For now, it is all we can do to protect the innocent.
How do you guys fight against magic?
We have more than swords at our disposal. We're taught to dispel unholy magics as well. If only our powers work to keep away the Darkspawn. Alas, it is not so.
Are you the only protection this village has?
Our ban was summoned by Tairn Loghain, and he took his soldiers north with him. Lothering has been abandoned.
Where would I find the revered mother?
In her study, no doubt. Preparing what she will take when we eventually evacuate. If the matter is important, certainly.
You heard any recent news?
Other than the Darkspawn horde bearing down on us, none of it is good. Tairn Loghain is set to declare himself king, I hear. Disaster piled on disaster.
What do you mean?
Tairn Loghain has no legitimate claim on the throne. He may be a hero, and his daughter may be queen, but he is a commoner, and the king's corpse is barely cold. If Arl Eamon was able to intervene, perhaps it would not have gone this far. I do not care who takes the throne. Only fools fight over who owns a cottage while it burns down around them.
What an awesome line. Oh, that is A+. I love that. Only fools fight over a cottage who owns a cottage while it burns down around them. Damn, that's good.
Now, unless there's something else you need.
I need some info.
If the matter is important, certainly.
No.
Now, unless there's something else you need.
You seem pretty dire here.
They are. With the ban having taken his men north, the village is left to its fate. We will evacuate as many as we can before the horde reaches us. I will stay as long as I am needed. Now, unless there's something else you need.
Is there any other help you can offer?
I cannot openly help you, I fear, but... Here, take this key. It opens the large cabinet on the far wall. There is more there than we can carry when we evacuate, so take what you need.
Cool. About those bandits outside the village.
Maker's breath. How many times must we drive them off?
They robbed me. I demand compensation. Jeez. I drove them off myself.
Indeed? They're gone?
It's true. I saw the bastard running for the hills myself.
That's an impressive feat indeed. Will you accept a small reward for your efforts?
I would rather this guy use that money to help these people out, if I'm being completely honest. I could keep an eye out for trouble for the right pay. I don't know that I want to take that on. I'm not a security guard. Your thanks is enough, man.
That is very generous of you. If it interests you, there is a Chanters board outside full of quests that need doing. The Chanters even offer pay for some of them. Now, unless there's something else you need.
I'll go.
Travel safely, and may the Maker watch over you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Items received. A key to the cabinet. I like that. Another farmer? Is this the same guy?
Are you here to see the Reverend Mother too?
Where is she?
In her office arranging for everyone to leave, I suppose. I don't think she's with anyone right now. I came to ask for a blessing. With my family abandoning the farm to flee north, we'll need all the grace the Maker can offer. Well, good luck to you. I need to get underway. If I'm lucky, I'll make it back to the farmhold by nightfall.
Indeed. Alright, that's cool.
We were lucky. We had the coin to pay the toll to those bandits.
And when the Maker spoke,
Many didn't.
the chant of light scattered in the darkness. The word dispelled fear and ignorance.
The Maker. There was no word for heaven or for earth, for sea or sky. All that existed was silence. Then the voice of the Maker rang out, the first word, and his word became all that might be. Dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. And from it made his firstborn. And he said to them, "In my image I forge you. To you I give dominion over all that exists. By your will may all things be done." Then in the center of heaven he called forth a city with towers of gold, streets with music for cobblestones, and banners which flew without wind. Here he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. The children of the Maker gathered before his golden throne and sang hymns of praise unending. But their songs were the songs of the cobblestones. They shone with the golden light reflected from the Maker's throne. They held forth the banners that flew on their own. And the voice of the Maker shook the fade, saying, "In my image I have wrought my firstborn. You have been given dominion over all that exists. By your will all things are done, yet you do nothing. The realm I have given you is formless, ever-changing." And he knew he had wrought amiss. So the Maker turned from his firstborn and took from the fade a measure of its living flesh and placed it apart from the spirits and spoke to it, saying, "Here I decree opposition in all things, for earth sky, for winter summer, for darkness light. By my will alone is balance sundered and the world given new life. And no longer was it formless, ever-changing, but held fast, immutable, with words for heaven and for earth, sea and sky. At last did the Maker from the living world make men, immutable as the substance of the earth, with souls made of dream and idea, hope and fear, endless possibilities. Then the Maker said, "To you, my second-born, I grant this gift. In your heart shall burn an unquenchable flame, all-consuming and never satisfied. From the fade I crafted you, and to the fade you shall return, each night in dreams that you may always remember me." And then the Maker sealed the gates of the Golden City, and there he dwelled, waiting to see the wonders his children would create. Theranodes 5:1-8. Maker seems a bit egotistical to me.
Let those who cry out from the shadows be comforted. Let those who seek redemption be delivered. Let those who have sinned be forgiven.
And when the chant spreads across all four corners of the world, let it rise at last to the ears of the Maker. Let him hear our unwavering faith. Let him hear our righteous dedication and enduring perseverance.
And then shall the Maker return to us. And then shall the Maker return to the Black City in heaven. And then shall the chant of light make it pure. Let all mankind be humbled. Let all repeat the chant of light. Only the word dispels the darkness upon us.
And when the Maker spoke, chant of light scattered in
I
the
will
darkness.
say that this kind of environment here can bring great relief to folks that are going through some real trauma. I mean, this does provide a bit of solace for folks. Like, I'm not gonna shit all over this. Like, this is the kind of thing that, like, these people may legitimately need this in order to keep their,
You ever wonder if that's an accurate likeness of Andraste? Maybe she was ugly. Maybe she had buck teeth. How will we know?
Fools. Praying for help from a prophet they burned, and a god who has turned his back on them not once, but twice.
yeah, I mean, it's a tough one, but if this brings people comfort, helps them survive, helps them band together at a time of crisis, I'm not gonna shit on them for that. Relapse, thank you for the 1,000 bits. My PhD thesis was how award-winning family therapy educators facilitate meaningful family therapy education. Also did a substantive and methodological review of all of the teaching literature in marriage and family therapy. And that link that's in chat is where you can actually read my dissertation if you're interested. I am in Lothering, yes.
Yes!
Codex updated. The Sacred Ashes of Andraste. I read this already, though.
I'm off.
Boy, I can't lockpick shit.
Make it pure. Let all man humble. Let all repeat the chant of light. Only the word dispels the darkness upon us.
I would never expect you to read my dissertation, Relapse. I would never expect you to read that. But basically, it was just how it was all about how to facilitate meaningful educational experiences for, like meaningful learning experiences for students. My big thing was I wanted to study how to be a really meaningful teacher and how to help people learn effectively. And so that was what I spent my time doing. Ooh, some boots that I can wear. Ancient elven boots. The boots of my people.
The Maker. Let him hear our unwavering faith. Let him hear our righteous
You, miss, what is your name? You seem quite odd to me.
You would not be the first to think so. But avert your eyes. I will not have you staring over long.
Best get used to it. I'll be watching you. We want no trouble here.
And then shall the Maker return
All right.
to us. And
See, this is where me and Alistair could really step up. Help her out.
Greetings, and welcome to the Chantry.
Oh, thank you. Why don't you be nicer to my party member, you dick? Revered mother.
Will you be making a donation to the Chantry, my friend? You look like you have salvaged more of value than most who make it here.
Tithe to the Chantry? Are you joking? What tithe is acceptable? Boy, I don't know that I want to make a donation to the church right now. Who are you?
I am the revered mother of this Chantry. Traditionally, those who seek my blessing tithe first.
Good night, Skog. Oh, man. Money with you people. Like, you know, I get it. You need money to do stuff, but like, really? Right now? You're not... She's not much better than those guys that were out there gouging people for their goods. Like the salesman. Like, she's doing the same thing. She's like, oh, people come to me desperately seeking meaning. They want my blessing. It's what's going to get them through. But pay me. Pay me first. Pay me. What tithe is acceptable?
Might I suggest 30 silver?
30 silver. much money for these people right now. What are you gonna do with it? This whole town's gonna be ravaged by darkspawn. Oh my god. 30 silver? That's nuts. No wonder the priestess was upset. The refugees are spending their money on medicine and food. How will they afford to pay the church, right? Wow. I can offer 5 wait, what are sovereigns? Is sovereigns gold or sovereigns bronze? Because I don't want to dump 5 gold on her right now. I don't know what sovereigns are. Sovereigns are gold? Oh shit. All right, good. I'm glad I asked. Okay, thank you, chat. Oh man, thank you. I almost just made a terrible decision. I thought like I could do like 5 bronze. All right, I'll do 10 silver because I got 20 silver off the bandits. And I don't need to stir up a ruckus, and maybe she's got some information for me. I got 10.
1 out of 1 is a more generous gift than 10 out of thousands. What can I do for you then?
Oh man, that kind of bullshit mentality too. Ugh, God. Basically cheapens donations of the rich and tries to make it seem like if you're poor, there's even more meaning to spending your money, and it's just gross. I hate it. Okay, anyway. I was hoping to receive your... No, I don't want your blessing. What can I do for you then? Nothing. Don't worry about it. I just wanted to give you 10 silver. I'm a Grey Warden. I need your help.
A Grey Warden? Here? Oh dear. You put me in a difficult position. You must know that Loghain declared the Grey Wardens to be outlaws.
I thought... Yeah, don't you listen to the Maker? It is Loghain who betrayed the king.
Loghain? That is as hard for me to believe as his condemnation of the Wardens. There is a price on your head. Lay low, and I promise to keep your presence a secret. That is the best I can do. Now, if there is nothing else...
Can you give me any help?
I cannot help you without risking the safety of this village in Chantry.
I understand that.
The best I can do is keep your presence a secret. I am sorry. Now, if there is nothing else...
I don't trust this lady.
May the Maker guard you, Grey Warden.
That was a waste of 10 silver. I just spent 10 silver to put myself at risk. I don't trust this lady at all. God damn it. That was a bad call, Ryan. Bad call. Alright, now listen here, lady. Door's closed.
Let it rise at last to the ears of the Maker. Let him hear our unwavering faith.
Not great.
It's terrible. So many come to Lothering seeking refuge, only to find that we can offer little more than prayer. Does the Maker see our plight? Is he moved by this destruction? I apologize. The Maker's plan is too grand for me to fathom, especially at times like this.
No! No! Okay. This is... Oh, man. This stuff's hard for me to not get frustrated about. Because when you see it happening, it is like... You just want to advocate for people and their own critical thought. She is thinking very hard and critically about this. She's questioning, why on earth is any of this happening? Why is the person that I pray to allowing this to happen when he's supposed to bring peace on earth? What the hell? And then she immediately stops because she has had imprinted upon her the idea that if she questions any of this, she's either a heathen, she won't belong, she'll be excommunicated. So what's the answer to that, right? Well, it must be that if I don't like what's happening and my critical thought takes me into a space that's not aligned with what I've been taught about the Maker, it must be because his plan is too grand for me to fathom. So my critical thought is less about the Maker maybe being a bullshit artist and me being inadequate in my ability to understand him. It's essentially an assimilation, cognitively, that holds firm that the Maker is this omniscient, fabulous person, or thing, or deity, or whatever the hell. this is systematically put into people when they are in a position like this. That you get them to question their critical thought when the critical thought potentially makes them hold accountable something that is being used for other gain. So in the same way that praying to the Maker, believing in the Maker, following the Chantry could be really meaningful for people, it can also really hold them down and cause a lot of problems for them, especially when they start critically thinking about what's going on. She is having a crisis of faith, and she's basically been told it's because the plan is outside of your scope of understanding. So that she blames herself, rather than maybe blaming the system that she's in for creating a very weird story around this, given that their experience is in direct violation of their expectations. What are those priests chanting?
The chant of light. Surely you know it.
Nope. I'd like to learn more about it.
The chant is our devotion to the Maker, our first commandment as followers of his prophet Andraste. The entire chant takes weeks to sing and is only done straight through at the Grand Cathedral in Val Royeaux. Here we can only sing a few verses per week and finish anew each first day.
Okay.
May the Maker watch over you.
Thanks for giving me a chance to do a tidbit.
Return to us, and then shall the Maker return.
All right, let's leave the Chantry.
I brought my family to Lothering because I thought it would be safe.
Well, I'm sorry it isn't, sir. Alright, let's cross this bridge.
Just how smart are Mabari supposed to be, anyway? Do you think they understand everything we say? Oh, is that so? You could just be listening to the tone of my voice. You could be an utter moron for all we know. Hey, hey, hey now! There's nothing saying that a moron can't be cute and adorable. Who's the cute and adorable puppy?
That's right.
Ignorance is bliss, isn't it? That's what the Chantry kept telling me anyhow.
God, this area's huge, man. There's so much here.
So how is it that Loghain survived when even the Grey Wardens didn't make it out of that place down south?
I heard he saw just in time what those Grey Wardens were doing and saved his men. He's a hero, that's what he is.
Too bad he couldn't save poor King Caelan. Blast those Grey Wardens, they deserve what they got and more.
I'll say. First they drag the king down there and then they throw him to the wolves. It's no wonder it all went bad.
Ooh, baby. Loghain's gotten it out. It's the first story, man. You make it make logical sense. They're going to have a real hard time getting pulled out of that narrative. And that's by design. Yeah, Neuro, that can certainly be one reason. For sure. A lot of manipulation in those spaces.
Did you see the new recruiters out?
Loghain's Refuge. Let's see what this place is.
Well, look what we have here, then. I think we've just been blessed.
Uh-oh. Loghain's men. This can't be good.
Didn't we spend all morning asking about an elf by this very description, and everyone said they hadn't seen one?
It seems we were lied to.
Gentlemen, surely there's no need for trouble. These are no doubt simply more poor souls seeking refuge.
They're more than that. Now stay out of our way, sister. You protect these traitors, you'll get the same as them.
All right. Let's try to be curious. What makes you think we're traitors, sir?
Loghain claims the Grey Wardens betrayed the king. Or haven't you heard?
Enough talk! Take the warden into custody. Kill this sister and anyone else that gets in your way.
Right. Let's make this quick.
Oh shit! Bar fight!
won. We surrender.
Good.
Yeah, you little
They've learned their
bitch.
lesson and we can all stop fighting now.
Ooh, how do I want to handle this? Take a message to Loghain. That's ballsy. That's ballsy. Ballsy. Ooh. I don't want them reporting to Loghain. Oh, God. The Grey Wardens didn't betray King Kaelin. Loghain did. I don't know that these guys are going to believe that. But it might be good for me to get that message out and start sowing seeds of dissonance.
I was there. The Terran pulled us out of a trap.
No, he didn't. The Terran left the king to die.
The Wardens led the king to his death. The Terran could do nothing.
I think I put these people at huge risk if I kill these guys. Or they die here, and then when everybody inevitably leaves, I just feel like I could scare the shit out of people here. They probably feel a sense of safety with these guys around. Start running.
Yes, thank you, thank you.
I apologize for interfering, but I couldn't just sit by and not help.
Ultimately, I probably sow greater seeds of dissonance in that guy by saying what I said and then sparing him. He's only doing what he's been told. Like, this is really hard stuff. Everybody's scared. We always have to remember that there is the imminent threat of the Darkspawn. So there is a shared fear here. So people want to know what's going on, and they want to align with the people they trust. And so that guy just rigidly adhered to what Loghain said, because that's safe for him. Gives him something to go off of. So I fought back. I showed some force there. I sow a seed of dissonance, and I tell him to leave. And I spare him. And you see how he softened up there? And I hope that he looks back on that and says, you know what? A Grey Warden who wanted all of my people to die would have killed me there. And he didn't. So maybe there's something off here. Who knows? Right? He could also go to Loghain, tell him that they ran into me and I might be in huge grave danger. We have no idea. But ultimately, I think sparing him there is the better call. He was quick at wanting to kill me, but I don't necessarily blame him for that. I blame the system around him that is facilitating him being aggressive in that manner. Everybody in this town has heard this rumor. So I, as a Grey Warden, come in here. If you truly believed that the Grey Wardens betrayed the king, because that's the story you've heard, and you've heard it from multiple people, and it's been confirmed by sources you trust, a Grey Warden coming into this space would be super, super threatening. We have been lucky to get the benefit of the doubt from people up to this point. So I am not surprised that that guy attacked me at all. Sure. Could the soldier's desire to stick to Loghain's story be fueled by the guilt he may be experiencing from going along with the order? Sure. Sure. It's hard to own up to when you make a mistake. Absolutely. Alright. I couldn't just sit by and not help. I appreciate what you tried to do.
I am glad you found it in your heart to offer those men mercy. Let me introduce myself. I am Liliana, one of the lay sisters of the Chantry here in Lothering. Oh, I was.
I'm Mick. Nice to meet you.
They said you were a Grey Warden. I'm surprised you're an elf. But elves must want the Blight defeated as much as humans, no? I know after what happened you will need all the help you can get. That's why I'm coming along.
Is that right? Why are you so eager to come with me?
The Maker told me to.
Oh no. Can you elaborate a little bit?
I know that sounds absolutely insane, but it's true. I had a dream. A vision.
More crazy? I thought we were all full up.
Look
Alistair?
at the people here. They are lost in their despair, and this darkness, this chaos, will spread. The Maker doesn't want this. What you do, what you are meant to do, is the Maker's work. Let me help.
I want to know what happens if we're in a position where what we need to do is against the laws of the Maker. Like, can I trust you to act autonomously? Or do you see yourself as an extension of the Maker? Like, I really need to know that. I need to know if I can trust her. And I suppose she could tell me what I want to hear, and I'm not going to know until it happens, but if you're going to come to me and tell me that God told you in a dream that you got to follow me, I'm going to be skeptical. Why don't you help these people here?
Then what? What happens when the Hold comes? It will follow anywhere we flee until all we know is destroyed.
Now that said, having somebody who is a woman of the Chantry could be very helpful to me when I have to go play politics with people. Like, this is a good optical thing, and if she's this gung-ho of joining me, that's not terrible. So if you'll fight him, I guess we're stronger together.
Perhaps your skull was cracked worse than Mother thought.
Thank you. I appreciate being given this chance. I will not let you down.
I'm not taking you with me, though. Because I want Morrigan and Alistair with me, so... And I want my dog. Why do I have my sword out? Okay. So, thanks for coming with me. You can go into my inventory. Who's this guy?
You're here about food. Take it up with that bleeding runt by the Chantry. I got other gear to sell.
Got a food?
Whole mess of refugees come in and leave near every night. All have hungry bellies, sad tales, and mementos for barter. I sold that bleeding merchant outside about half my larder 2 weeks back, and now he's charging outrageous sums for all my food.
I took care of that.
You did? Well, I don't know what to say to that. Thanks.
Tell me what you got, buddy. I love how all these guys have armor on them. Like, this guy's just got a random round shield on him. War paint of the Vanguard. I can paint my dog. Yo. Golden rope necklace. I'll buy that. Amulet of the Accord. Ooh. Ale. Shiny gold ring. I like buying these gifts. Give everybody gifts. My wife would love that. These are a bit expensive. This is a bit salty for me, so I'm not going to buy them, but... What is your question mark
You're here
for?
about food. Take it up with that bleeding runt by the Chantry. I got other gear to sell.
Have any well-paying work in Lothering?
Check the Chanter's board by the Chantry. There's good jobs there. I don't suppose you know anything about poison?
Poison?
Yes, that's right, poison. I've got some traps around the place. I've heard the poison hurts them beasties just as good as anybody else.
What if a refugee triggers your trap, dude?
Well, then those bleeding sad sots should stay off my land, eh? Besides, these days, any folk out at night is more than like to slit your throat. Can you make poison or not?
It's not a skill I possess.
Pity. I figured it was worth asking. So, you want to buy something instead?
I don't. Sorry, man.
I'm trying to listen to the bard's song. Can we speak when they're done?
Blackstone Liaison.
As I live and breathe, you're the Grey Warden everyone's been talking about.
Keep it down, brother. Something I can do for you?
I represent the Blackstone Irregulars. We're a mercenary company that fell on hard times after the war with Orlais. I'm sure you know that times are getting worse every day. With your help, the Irregulars could be of use to Ferelden once more.
Can I be of service?
Our leaders thought you might be willing to help. Each of our posts in Ferelden will contain letters addressed to you. Unlike most who work with us, you're getting letters straight from Raelnor and Tauran, our leaders. I hope this tells you how highly the Irregulars regard the Grey Wardens.
Take a look.
Thank you. When you've completed a mission, just return to me or any of our members stationed at an Irregulars post. We'll make sure your efforts are rewarded. Maker's blessings light your path.
Thank you. Letter from the Blackstone Irregulars. A letter written in careful script addressed to you. To the inimitable Grey Warden. Your deeds have spread since the tragedy of Ostagar, and I find myself in need of one such as you. I am Raelnor, captain of the venerable Blackstone Irregulars, and I hope to win your trust. That's a hell of an opening paragraph. The Irregulars have come on hard times since the war with the Orlais, but I have fought to improve their reputation. Gone are the days of my father's shady deals with unscrupulous nobles in Denerim. No, I have trained a guild filled with honorable men ready to fight for Ferelden, and I am proud to say that I have seen your own Grey Wardens as a sort of model. We're not perfect. My own son advocates a move back to the more lucrative way my father ran the guild, but we are steadfast. It is in this context that I ask for your help, and I promise we will reward you accordingly. Should you be willing, please find letters in this box and others like it all over the land, and carry out the requests therein. For this matter, consider requests from my son as if they came from myself, and thank you again, from the bottom of my heart, whether you choose to assist us or not. You are doing the Maker's work, Warden, and I am honored to work with you. Raelnor. This letter is marked with the seal of the Blackstone Irregulars. Liliana. In the cloister, away from the fuss and the flurry of the cities, I found peace, and in that stillness I could hear the Maker. A lay sister of the Chantry who could beat the stuffing out of trained mercenaries would be notable enough, but one who also claims to have been sent to fight the Darkspawn by the Maker himself is unusual to say the least. She joined Alistair and Mick in Lothering, insisting that she would prove useful. You know what? That's a good point, Moko. I did just get in a bar fight because of my status, and I just whooped ass. It's a great point. You there.
A few knights have come through here, searching for some holy artifact. Not one of them stopped to help.
Shame, really. We're more worried about trying to kill me. Donal, what's up?
You're gonna make more trouble? We've about all we can stand in Lothering now.
I didn't make the trouble. I'm not here to make trouble.
Well, those boys were trouble themselves, to tell the truth. Right then, name's Donal. Sorry I can't chat much. As you see, we've a full house.
Don't suppose you have any rooms? Have you heard any rumors?
There's knights from Redcliffe spread all over Ferelden on some kind of mission, but I hear that they're starting to become rarefied. Maybe they all went back to Redcliffe. More likely they got tired of searching for something that can't be found and abandoned their search. I wonder what Earl Eamon is gonna do without any knights. Anything else I can get you?
Any other rumors?
I hear the Dwarven King is passed on. Old as he was probably poisoned or assassinated. That's how the dwarves normally go out, isn't it? Anything else I can get you?
Any others?
I hear news from Denerim that Confronting Loghain has been declared the new regent. It makes sense, his daughter being the queen. Anything else I can get you? With King Caelan dead, the throne falls to Queen Anora. She's made her father the regent, however, at least for now. I think Caelan's father, old King Merrick, would have approved. Anything else I can get you?
I like talking to this guy about rumors.
Something's going on at the Mage's Tower at Lake Callanhard. Nobody knows exactly what, though, and the Templars aren't saying. Exactly what we need, isn't it? Let's hope the Mages are just cooking up something to deal with the Darkspawn. Somebody should be, after all. Anything else I can get you?
Nobody better than a bartender to get the local rumors.
Some folks aren't happy about Tern Loghain being named regent. There are rumors he had something to do with the king's death. Isn't that the most ridiculous thing you ever heard? The Darkspawn killed him, sure enough. If Tern Loghain couldn't save the king from that inn, then nobody could. Anything else I can get you? I hear from folks traveling the East Roads that there's werewolves in the Brazilian forest. Actual werewolves. They haven't been around since the days of Dane and his ilk. Anything else I can get you? I heard a strange rumor the other day. King Cailan was not really Merrick's son, you see. Merrick's real son is hidden in the bowels of Denham's palace and has been since he was born. I suppose they feed him cakes all day to keep him content. Maybe he's simple. Or a mage. Merrick's real son, a mage. Can you imagine? Anything else I can get you? Thank the Maker we didn't lose Tern Loghain at Ostagar. He pulled his troops out just in time, so it said. Without him, we'd be lost. Anything else I can get you? And I hear that Tern Loghain, the regent, is calling for new levies of troops. He wants to rebuild the army we lost at Ostagar. Thing is, there's not a lot of spare men to be found. Out at Dragon's Peak, there's press gangs roaming around, grabbing any free man they can lay their hands on. Anything else I can get you? There's talk that King Cailan was cheating on the Queen and she found out about it. That's why Tern Loghain abandoned Cailan at Ostagar. Anything else I can get you?
Wait a minute. Sure, yeah, that's what it was. Yep, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
I heard from some travelers that something bad might have happened in Redcliffe, overrun by Darkspawn, maybe. There's no word from the village at all. A merchant friend of mine said he encountered someone fleeing the place and there was nothing waiting for him there but death. He wisely turned around and came right back. Anything else I can get you?
This guy has so much information. This is wild.
Some hunters who range into the Brazilian forest say that a Dalish clan there has fallen to some kind of sickness. The blight, most likely, poor sods. Anything else I can get you? I hear tell they held a funeral in Denham for King Cailan. The Grand Cleric called for a full day of mourning and there was a procession a mile long passing by the brazier. It's too bad they don't have a body to properly burn. What happened to him at the hands of those creatures, it's unthinkable. Anything else I can get you? Habron, daughter of the Earl of Southreach, has spent an exorbitant amount of her father's coin buying puppies. No one knows what happens to the puppies, and she buys a new one every week. Anything else I can get you? I've heard a rumor that the reason Queen Honora has never produced an heir is that she's barren. It's a curse from the Maker for bringing a commoner into the royal line. Until someone of royal blood is put on the throne, there will never be an heir. It seems the royal line of Calenod has been broken for good now. Anything else I can get you?
This guy has an amazing memory.
I'm hearing many tales of corpses clawing out of their graves. All over. Not just people either. Animals too. Just yesterday, a farmer told me about the kitten his daughter had buried behind his barn. Little thing came back to life and crawled up, mewling as loud as you please. His daughter was delighted, at least until it just about chewed her finger off. Strange days, I tell you. Anything else I can get you?
Remember, these are rumors.
There's a nasty rumor going around that the Grey Wardens are evil and that they worship the Archdemon. They're the ones that caused the blight. They were getting upset, see, that there was no use for them anymore, so they summoned up the Archdemon to do their bidding. It would explain a great many things. Anything else I can get you?
Conspiracy theories, man. They make logical sense. They give people a chance to control the narrative, and they give them a sense that you can push against the powers that be and the realities that they don't want to attend to. Yes, the Grey Wardens, in their sense of incompetence and uselessness, decided that they wanted to wipe out the world just so they could matter. Yes.
Arl Urian wasn't truly killed at Ostagar. His son, Lord Von, hired Antivan crows to kill his father before he ever reached the battlefield, only to first be killed by a mob of elves himself. Anything else I can get you? The crafters of the Pearl Brothel are threatening to close their doors if they aren't finally recognized as a true guild. Ha! Can you imagine? As if the men weren't blue enough. Anything else I can get you?
This is an incredible amount of dialogue for a random ass bartender that you could just walk right past.
I don't know what to tell you. Nothing I can think of at the moment.
Okay, well, hey man, I appreciate all the I appreciate the outrageous amounts of information you were just willing to give me, sir.
Going.
What is going on in here?
What's it now? With all these poor mouths to feed, I've no time to spare. Out you go!
Why is there a dead knight in this kitchen?
All right.
Ma'am? Look at this. This kid's like cleaning up after. What?
I want to go home.
Yeah, I don't blame you, buddy. You literally have to sit on the floor next to a dead body. Mystery meat is on the menu today. Good thing I'm not OSHA or the health inspector. It wouldn't be OSHA, it'd be health inspector.
Said he was from Redcliffe.
He talked to everyone in the tavern. How are we supposed to know where the urn of sacred ashes is? Might as well ask us how to get to the moon.
He said that all the Redcliffe knights were looking for it, as if they didn't have anything better to do. I don't get it.
This game came out in 2010. And it has more substance in it than, like, games that come out in 2022. It is unbelievable how much stuff is in this game. I mean, I loved it when I played it back in 2010. I don't remember anything about it other than I loved it. And the more we go through this, more I'm realizing, like, it's just the absolutely incredible amount of depth in the world. It is so awesome.
Got a brother that fell at Ostergal. Hope we're not next.
Me too, man. Like, I literally haven't left this city this entire stream.
You got a bed for the night. You taken care of.
Huh?
Lothering's full up with refugees. Might be space in Alison's barn. Speak up.
I was hoping I could help you.
Don't need blades right now. We need beds, food, and an end to all these sad sots. I don't suppose you know anything of tonics, medicines, or herbs.
I don't, but my friend does.
Then you may be able to do us a lot of good. All manner of travellers come through, many injured or sick. We do our best, but we're out of supplies. There's medicinal herbs in the woods to the north. If you make a few poultices, I'll scrape together some sort of payment. I'll write all you need to know in this note here.
Okay. Okay, so Elder Miriam has requested that you put your skill of herbs to craft some lesser health poultices for the injured refugees of Lothering. 3 of these should suffice. Refer to the note for specifics.
Have any luck finding herbs in the woods? This will help many people. You're a good sort, you know.
Good thing I already had everything. That's helpful. Alright.
Hello, stranger. I don't suppose you know anyone that can make traps?
What do you need them for?
Old man Barlin said that Darkspawn may be coming soon. He's got traps on his farm. I figured I'd put a few on my lands. Barlin wants to poison his traps. I just want normal traps.
Why don't you just buy some? I'm sure I know the answer to this.
None to be had.
Oh.
Barlin has all the traps in the village in his fields.
I can't make traps.
I didn't mean to bother you. Sorry.
I bothered you. Don't apologize to me. I bothered you. I just don't know how to make them. I'm sorry.
Stop looking at me, mongrel. I have nothing you want. Why do you keep staring at me so, you flea-ridden beast? Can you not tell when you are not wanted? I enjoy company of creatures of the wild, not stench-ridden domesticated wolves. And he persists. Maddening!
You're gonna love him eventually, Morrigan. Okay. What else do we have to go? I think we've...
How dare you accuse me of thievery? I saw you take it.
Chastened. The chastened Wilders have lived in the Kakari Wild since the first wars with the Almari drove them southward a millennium ago. According to their own lore, they had always been a forest-dwelling people that adapted quickly to their new home. Game and fish were plentiful in the wetlands, and the chastened thrived. For a time, they and the hill-dwelling Avars were true threats to the northern lowlands. The Tevinter Imperium had arrived and was hard-pressed to keep back the waves of invasions from the south and the west. The fortress of Ostagar was built specifically to watch for chastened hordes venturing north of the tree line. It was not until the legendary warrior Hafter soundly defeated the chastened in the first half of the Divine Age that the question of their ability to contest the lowlands was settled permanently. Today, the chastened are considered largely peaceful, though their ways are still primitive compared to our own. In the Kakari Wilds, they live in strange-looking huts built on stilts, or even built into the great treetops. They paint their faces and are split into small tribes ruled by shamans like those amongst the Avars. There are many tales of these shamans having learned their magic from witches of the wilds, witches that inspire as much terror as they do awe and gratitude, even if there is no definitive proof they exist. In particular, the tale of Flemeth, the greatest witch of the wilds, is celebrated amongst all tribes. While there's no way to know how many there are in the wilds today, few travelers that pass through the forest tell of chastened eking out of existence even in the frozen wastelands of the far south. One can assume that should the chastened ever organize themselves once more, we might have reason to fear that them here in Ferelden. We ignore them at our peril. From Ferelden, Folklore and History by Sister Petrine, Chantry Scholar.
Your grassland eyes are inept. A chastened would never stoop to petty theft. You marsh folk are all thieves and liars.
Enough! People here are already desperate and frightened. They don't need you two coming to blows.
But what about my food?
I said enough!
Okay.
That marshman stole from me, I know it! The carnage we left in the wilds was horrifying.
It's just a shitty time for everybody right now.
Do not seem a refugee. We're part of the army.
Shokke basit isra, marade starit, merade twasit, abana kyun, maras shokra. And you aren't one of my captors. I have nothing to say that would amuse you, elf. Leave me in peace.
Put you here.
I'm in a cage, am I not? I've been placed here by the Chantry. I am Sten of the Beresad, the vanguard of the Kunari peoples.
Mick, nice to meet you, man.
You mock me. Or you show manners I have not come to expect in your lands. Though it matters little now. I will die soon enough.
Not to put too fine a point on it, but Kunari are renowned warriors. If we could release him, perhaps he might help us.
This is a proud and powerful creature, trapped as prey for the Darkspawn. If you cannot see a use for him, I suggest releasing him for mercy's sake alone.
Mercy? I wouldn't have expected that from you.
I would also suggest that Alistair take his place in the cage.
Yes, that's what I would have expected.
I suggest you leave me to my fate.
Why are you here?
I have been convicted of murder. Have the villagers not spoken of this?
No, they have not. Murder.
The people of a farmhold. 8 humans, in addition to the children.
Are you guilty?
Are you asking if I feel guilt or if I am responsible for the deed? However I feel, whatever I've done, my life is forfeit now.
How long have you been here?
20 days now. I shouldn't last much longer, another week at most.
You wanting to seek atonement?
Death will be my atonement.
Okay. Or you could redeem yourself other ways.
Perhaps. What does your wisdom say is equal to my crime?
You help me defend the land against the Blight. I'm on a quest of great importance. That doesn't answer his question. What do you care as long as you're free? You can help me defend the land against the Blight.
The Blight? Are you a Grey Warden, then?
Indeed.
Surprising. My people have heard legends of the Grey Warden's strength and skill. Though I suppose not every legend is true.
Revered mother let you free?
Perhaps if you told her the Grey Wardens need my assistance. It seems as likely to bring my death as waiting here.
Okay.
Farewell, then.
A penitent man left to be torn to pieces by Darkspawn. 'Tis a fine example of the Chantry's mercy, is it not?
Well, he did kill 8 people, and he admits to it, so we can't just assume this guy's innocent because he's nice. Either you have an enviable memory or a pitiable life to know nothing of regret. The northern islands are remote, lush jungles that harbor cities rumored to be the most extraordinary ever built. These are the lands of the Qunari, lands that no foreign eyes ever see. Only the stories of the 3 exalted marches waged against the giants have reached the south, until the arrival of Sten. The stoic giant in the cage was surely the strangest thing the people of Lothering had ever seen until the Blight struck. He was sent with a small group of Qunari soldiers to investigate the Blight and report back. Outside Lothering, they were ambushed by Darkspawn. They fought off the attack, but only Sten survived. Farmers found him dying and took him in, but when he awoke, alone and unarmed, he panicked, killing the entire family. Realizing he had... Wait a minute. Farmers... When he awoke alone and unarmed, he panicked, killing the entire family. Realizing he had sacrificed his honor, Sten waited for the villagers to come and surrendered, expecting death. Oh, wow. So he literally panicked when he was awoken by people he didn't know who they were. It's interesting because I suppose we have to headcanon that he told us that. But that is, that's a real bummer. Alright, let's go talk to her and see if we can get him out. Something tells me this is not going to be particularly easy here.
You ate my entire...
Have you seen my mother?
Beat it! Who's your mother? Yes, I have. She's over there somewhere. God.
She's really tall, and she has red hair. We live on a big farmhold, all of us. Some mean men with swords came, and Mother told me to run to the village as fast as I could, so I did. She said she'd be right behind me, but I've been waiting and waiting, and I can't see her.
Well, good luck. Oh, boy. I'll help you look for her.
Mother said I wasn't to go with anyone. I'm supposed to wait for her here, in the village.
Alright. Oy vey. You know where your dad is?
He went with William to the neighbours yesterday, but he didn't come back.
Oh, no. I want to give him silver and give him something to eat. I'm just going to devastate this kid and walk away. Good luck with that, man.
She'll come soon, right? She wouldn't leave me here all alone. Mother, where are you?
Just hoping we find her.
And when the Maker spoke,
I hear you drove off those bandits.
Yes? What can I do for you now?
You will do well to remember my donation. I want to talk about Sten, the Canary you imprisoned.
It might have been kinder to execute him, but I leave his fate to the Maker. Why does he interest you?
Is there a... What did he do?
He butchered an entire farmhold. Only one of the youngest hid long enough to survive. The child said his father had found the Canary gravely wounded and took him in. That kindness was repaid with murder. The bandsman found the Canary just standing amidst the carnage. He did not resist them.
Is there a way I can convince you to release him?
Then his next victims might count you and me as their murderers.
I was thinking you might release him into... This is interesting. Do I want to lie to her? I don't know how I don't know if returning him to his people is a good enough lie. I think you should reconsider that stance now. Boy, she's got a lot of power though, given that I'm a Grey Warden. Like, I've got to be really careful here. This would suggest that I'm leaving here. You might release him into my custody. That's...
To defend against the Blight? Perhaps that is a form of atonement. But are you certain you can control him?
You prefer I could invoke the right of conscription. If not, I will kill him. Problem solved. Are you certain you can control him? I suppose this is probably the better way. I don't want to do the rite of conscription. That feels a little weird for me to do. Or I guess that spare... I hate the rite of conscription. That guy didn't ask to be a Grey Warden. We'll do this. If not, I'll kill him. Problem solved.
No, I cannot. There will be too much trouble for us if we are seen cooperating with you.
Darkspawn are the real enemy here.
The Maker cares no less for that Canary's victims than for the thousands who fell in Ostagar. Now, good day.
Son of a bitch.
Yes? What can I do for you now? Again, we have already discussed this, and I told you I would not release the creature.
I must insist. What if this causes an incident?
The Maker demands justice, regardless of his race.
I'm not gonna argue with you. Give me the key or you're going down.
Now we threaten priests. How fun.
Whoa, whoa! Let's not get out of hand here.
I'm doing it.
What is the meaning of this? You would threaten me with violence?
Your Reverence, please. We are on an important mission. Let us take the Kunari off your hands. I beg you.
I see. And if not, I am to be assaulted. Is this what we have come to?
No, Your Reverence. I will not allow that to happen.
I have more important matters to concern me. Here, take the key to the creature's cage and begone. Do not return.
It's totally fine by me. He is way more useful to me than you are.
When the chant spreads across all four corners of the world, let it rise at last to the ears of the Maker. Let him
I mean, I guess I could have done the right of I could have... man. I mean, I guess I could have said I'll invoke the right, and then she gives me the key, and then I just don't do that, and just let him out. But maybe threatening assault wasn't great, but I need him. I need him more than I need the church right now, for sure. Get him out of here.
So let's talk about your mother for a moment.
I'd rather talk about your mother.
Well, there's nothing
Guys, we
to
already
talk
talked about your
besides,
moms.
isn't your mother a scary witch who lives in the middle of a...
You wish something more of me?
I have the key to open your cage.
I confess, I did not think the priestess would part with it.
Took some persuading.
And once I am free, you expect me to go with you?
If you are willing.
So be it. Set me free and I will follow you against the Blight.
How can you help us?
I have spent my life in the Vanguard. I know war, and your lands need all the help they can get.
Very well. Come on
And
out.
so it is done. I will follow you into battle. In doing so, I shall find my atonement.
Thank you, Sten. Glad to have you with us.
May we proceed? I am eager to be elsewhere.
Cool. He's coming with me. I'm sorry, Dirk.
Lost it. Yes.
Yes.
Indeed.
Sten is coming with me. 'Cause Sten looks freaking awesome. Let's get you equipped here, bud. Get you into this chainmail. Yeah. Yeah. Sten, would you like a beer? Deal with that later. Oh no. Sten, what happened to your arms?
Why are we stopping?
I think we should get to know each other.
There are darkspawn to be fought. Is this delay needful?
You alright, man? You were in that cage forever.
You are concerned. No need. I am fit enough to fight.
I've never seen a Canary before. Tell me a little bit about yourself.
No.
Okay. May I ask why?
People are not simple. They cannot be summarized for easy reference in the manner of, the elves are a lithe, pointy-eared people who excel at poverty.
Alright, never mind.
As you wish.
Let's keep moving. I will not push. Boy, he's, his character model is all sorts of, wild. Alright, we got Sten. We just spent the entire night in Lothering. But I do hope you enjoyed it. We had lots of good conversations. Good stuff. I mean, the lore building behind everything that's going on is absolutely wild. So, something tells me this may be a very lengthy playthrough, and I don't mind that. I hope you are along for the ride. So those of you watching this on YouTube, thanks so much for taking the time to make it all the way to the end of the video. If you haven't already, thumbs up, leave a comment if you like, subscribe to the channel. Those of you that are members of my YouTube, by hitting the join button, thank you for your financial support. And if you follow me on all the links down in the description, I appreciate that as well. Would love to have you in Discord and to see you on all the other platforms. Really appreciate you all. If you're binging the series, I hope you enjoy part 5. See you over there. But really, this was a lot of fun, a lot of good stuff. I love how in-depth this game is for how long it is. Unbelievable. So, all right, catch you in part 5.